Bring Her Back was directed by the Philippou brothers. I really hope I pronounced that last name correctly. This is the same team that brought you Talk to Me a few years back. They're also known as Raka Raka on YouTube. And I know a lot of my colleagues on YouTube were super inspired by the fact that YouTubers are making a horror movie as gruesome as Talk to Me was, and as fun as Talk to Me was. And I didn't watch Talk to Me initially in the theaters, and I didn't review that. But in the time since it's come out, I did check it out, and yeah, it's as awesome as everybody says it is. So horror aficionados, I'm sure, were chomping at the bit to see their follow-up here. And we follow a brother and sister who witness a terrifying ritual at the secluded home of their new foster mother, played by Sally Hawkins, who you might remember from Guillermo del Toro's The Shape of Water, which is very bizarre indeed. And this movie is pretty bizarre in a different way. In a very different and disturbing way. Bring Her Back, I think, lived up to every ounce of hype that it got, and it's well deserved. This movie is so deranged, and not necessarily in the way that I'm sure casual horror audience will expect. Lots of jump scares, lots of blood, lots of slasher elements. No, these brothers direct the out of this movie, especially when you take into consideration that the sister is partially blind and can only see blurry shapes. The cinematography has a field day with this character trait. And just look at some of this shot composition and you cannot tell me that they are not trying to put you in this little girl's shoes. The cinematography is absolutely marvelous. The performances as well, in every shape. The main siblings who you follow, you feel so sorry for. Their father was brutally killed in the opening 15 minutes, and now they have to live with a pretty out there foster mother who kind of was giving me Annie Wilkes vibes. And there were so many times in this movie, and Sally Hawkins is so damn good in this. Like, you never really feel like she's an actor. There's so many times where you want to just wring her neck because of some of the stuff that she's doing to these kids. But at the same time, you also feel incredibly sorry for her. And I can't get into any spoilers about that. But there's a certain part of Sally Hawkins' character's background that just... And I think that's what makes Bring Her Back so frightening to me. It's not necessarily the supernatural effects, which are really cool. The young kid who's playing Oliver in this, who has a lot going on for sure. This kid sells every bit of this performance. And honestly, I'm not too queasy with blood nowadays. I feel like I've softened towards it. There were definitely at least a half dozen times in Bring Her Back where I just felt myself just kind of curl up in my chair. And I was like, I don't want to watch this. This is too gruesome. One scene in particular where this kid is eating a thing of fruit. That's all I'm going to say about it. If you've seen the movie, I think you know what I'm talking about. And I've said it many times before on this channel, and I'll say it again. All horror, like all art form, is subjective. People find different things scary. The things that I find scary are the that I feel like could happen in real life. And I know this is a huge bar and a huge comparison, but I'm looking at movies like The Exorcist, Psycho, Hereditary. Stuff that feels so grounded in reality, but it feels so surreal when you're watching it. It almost feels like a nightmare. And Bring Her Back feels like a nightmare. Guys, like, I think I'm speechless. And not many movies can do that. And there's not a lot of horror movies that can really make me cry and really get invested in what these characters are going through. But some of the symbolism that you see, especially involving our heroes, it's heartbreaking, man. Especially as it goes with the older brother, who, I shit you not, this kid, I was looking at him and I was like, he kind of looks like a young Sean Astin. Like, if Sean Astin as Samwise Gamgee was just a little bit taller, maybe a bit lankier, that's this guy. I feel like if this guy wants to keep acting, bravo. He's really f***ing great. But there's just so much about this movie to admire. The cinematography, the foreboding, secluded atmosphere that you're put in by these directors. The realistic feeling situation and the tension between these characters. And yes, the payoff, which I definitely found incredibly shocking, and I can't exactly spoil it on here, but goddamn, I was hit right in the feels. And I was like, I want to watch that again. Can we start it over? This is just one of those things where I want to really like hone in and examine this movie. Because I know there's a lot of stuff going on here, and I know these directors are really trying to not just entertain us, but send a very thoughtful and haunting message. And I definitely think Bring Her Back is one of the stronger movies of this year. It's a very unpredictable and unconventional horror movie. And I'm pretty sure this is going to be divisive with a lot of the casual horror movie goers. But I'm telling you guys, if you want to actually be scared shitless, you're going to give your money to this film. If I'm nitpicking anything at all, I mean, aside from everything I've just praised, performance, direction, the score, this movie is just firing on all cylinders. My only real gripe that I have on a first viewing is like there's a couple of supernatural elements that feel a bit too unrealistic given the situation. And I feel like some of that supernatural needed a little bit more explanation. But then again, at the same time, maybe that was the point. Maybe the point is to be ambiguous about it. But one thing that I just cannot let go, one certain character, without really spoiling too much, has a lot of blood coming out of their arm. And I swear, I'm not just thinking medically, but within a minute, this character probably would have died from bleeding out. And somehow this character survives through the rest of the runtime. And I found it to be a tad bit too unrealistic. But again, this is just the critic in me looking for something to nitpick. I loved Bring Her Back. I think this is one of the best movies of the year so far. Every other horror movie that comes out this year, it's going to be really, really tough to top this, as well as Sinners. My buddy Jacob Hubbard, I think, said it best. If you're a horror filmmaker, the 2020s are the right decade to be living in. Because I love horror, but I feel like especially over the past 5 years, since the start of the decade, they've just hit different, man. And Bring Her Back, I think, is another great one in a long list of them. I'm going to give Bring Her Back an A. Please, if you are a horror movie fan, if you missed this in the theater, you are doing yourself a disservice. But let me know what you thought of this down in the comment section below. Do you prefer this over Talk to Me? I honestly think I do, the more I'm talking about it. But talk to me all down there in the comments there. See what I did? Really, really bad timing for a pun. But hit that subscribe button if you're new. Hit that thumbs up as well, if you please. Stay tuned for more exciting content as the summer season kicks into another gear. It is getting very hot where I live right now. And the content is going to keep coming in hot, my friends. Thank you all so very much again for your continued support. And with all that being said, Back Talk, commence.